Which is the greater era, the 90s or the modern NBA? First of all, let's look at which era is better offensively. The players are way too talented than the players before. Now you can't be in the NBA by just being a physical force of nature. You got to have some skill to compete. Most centers in the 90s play inside the paint. But today's big man has to learn to shoot, dribble, pass. The greatest example of this is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis would be a beast in 90s, unlike what Charles Oakley says.
He even come on the bench back in the days.
Yo, come on.
That's kind of heavy.
Come on.
The first time I was like, maybe.
Two-time MVP coming off the bench, Giannis?
The big man played in the post and only some of them had a jump shot like Karl Malone and Hakeem Olajuwon. Guards also today are much more talented. In a league of giants, the shot kings also dominate, like Steph Curry. There are so many all-star snubs. The stars that were dominating 6 years ago are still putting up similar numbers, but now they aren't special as everybody in the NBA is getting monstrous stats. It has become normal and not impressive anymore. Another complaint by old heads is that the mid-range game is dead. First of all, it isn't. It's just that now the best players attempt mid-range shots who can make them. Kawhi, KD, DeMar are some examples of some elite mid-range shooters. Old heads are salty because players are attempting too much threes. Players found a good way to score points, so they are obviously going to use them. They complain that the players are too soft today and the game isn't physical enough. Which brings me towards the next point. Yes, we don't want players to manhandle each other on the court. It's not fucking WWE we are talking about. We are playing basketball. There's no hand checking in today's NBA. Isn't that good? Hand checking took all the skill away in defense. Today's players are way better defensively. They have to actually play defense. They have to defend at the perimeter and also the post. You have to be a versatile defender, otherwise you are a liability to your team. Just see Rudy Gobert. He is a walking $42 million ornament for the Timberwolves. If Rudy played in the 90s, he would easily fit in and be valuable to his teams. These days we have defenders like Kawhi, Jimmy Butler, Giannis, Paul George. They are a treat to watch. They just shut down anyone who says today's NBA is defenseless. An illusion was created because today's players are way more talented and scoring boomed. The pace of play is really fast as well, which doesn't ruin basketball but makes it fun, as we can see great comebacks. I agreed that there is not much defense in the regular season, but those games don't matter anyway. The real games are those that happen after the All-Star break. Last year the Celtics were a below 500 team before the All-Star break, but then they picked up the pace and reached the NBA Finals. Defense matters in the playoffs. 2016 Finals were a great example of this. So it is just a plain myth that defense doesn't matter in today's NBA. Today's NBA defense is just as good as the 90s, if not better. You go to a barbershop and you see two people arguing, and there's this one guy that goes, "The players back then were tougher, today's NBA players are soft." Yes, I agree, the amount of soft NBA players have increased. Devin Booker and Ben Simmons are examples of these. But it isn't true that all NBA players were fucking next incarnation of Jesus in the 90s. Every player had some flaws. So it is just plain false that today's players aren't mentally tough. LeBron, the role model of the today's NBA, he works too much on his body and he is a hard worker. Giannis made his physique from scratch. Luka Doncic is a savage. Y'all have to understand that to play on an elite level, you require a lot of dedication, patience, and hard work, which requires a lot of mental toughness. Stop thinking that 90s were heaven and nothing went wrong. It wasn't a place without problems. This isn't just about basketball. Nostalgia is a bitch.